Welcome to Discovering. The UP is one of the few spots in North America you'll find a pasty. It's the only spot in North America you'll find a natural luge track. It's a beautiful sunny day and I'm in Negaunee for a look at the sport of luge. And we'll take a look at a high school fishing team. Stick around, it's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak, surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
The Upper Peninsula Luge Club in Negaunee is home to one of only 5 lighted natural luge runs in the world, and the only natural track in the United States. The track is a half-mile long and features a 289-foot vertical drop. All I know is it's one very fast way to get from the top of a hill to the bottom.
This luge track, Lucy Hill, is the only one in North America, and there are other artificial tracks in Salt Lake City, Lake Placid, and in Canada, but we have the only flat track natural luge hill in North America. What that means is we have people here that come from throughout the U.S. A few weekends ago we had people from Alaska, we've had people from Maine, we've had people from New York, Tennessee, of course the surrounding states, Florida, and this year we've had exchange students with families coming from Chicago and Big Bay, and the exchange students were coming from Spain, France, and Slovakia. By having this area and having it have the public sliding open, we have a wide variety of people that are learning about natural track luge.
Make sure your sled is going where you want it when you put the brakes on. Otherwise, you're going to continue that no matter how much you do this or this. Or this. It's still going to go that way because the brakes are on. The minute you took your brakes off, your shoes up, sled went over that way, didn't it?
Right.
Okay. But you're aiming for the snowbank and you continue to go for the snowbank because the brakes are on.
Right.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
As far as the athletes, this is the only place they get to train on ice. When they're going over to Europe, we don't get our ice on the track till the end of December. They're usually going the day after Christmas. So they don't get a whole lot of ice time before heading over for their training in Europe. But once they get back here, they can continue working on the skills that they've honed in their 3 to 6 weeks over in Europe, sliding with the Italians, the Russians, the Germans, Ukrainians. Then they also have this wonderful opportunity to build relationships with FIL, Federation of International Luge, kids. For the kids here, that's, they may start as a Cub Scout and work their way up, and they decide, hey, we want to be part of the club, and they work their way up the track and hone in their skills. Then it's a determination of who has the skills and who also wants to go over to Europe and compete on the tracks over there. The kids have to decide that they want to put in the time and effort and have the opportunity to go spend a few weeks or a month and a half over in Europe. There's not too many programs that I can think of where they have that opportunity. The junior group is from 14 to 19, and then the seniors are 20 and up. So most of our kids here are 16 and under. We have one who is 18 also. It's a challenge to get people to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to put my effort into this. But once the kids get it and they have the drive, it's amazing what the parents can do to make things happen and give them the opportunities that not many people have.
Going down the track is very thrilling. You go down and yeah, you just try not to crash and stay in control. It's a good time.
Just make sure you don't crash into the wall, snowbank, yeah.
The track was built in 1990. There's underground plumbing all the way up to the top, and we have overhead lighting so we can do night races. And we also have the Friday night public slide, so they're sliding under the lights. And typical hours are Friday nights from 6 to 9 and Saturdays from 11 to 3. We also have online registration if you have a group. We have a group fee, and we can set up a special time for you, or that goes for individuals too.
I am originally from downstate, so we moved up here in like 2017, and then so at Hakelunta that year, we tried this, and I just immediately fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. It's unique. It's a very unique sport. This is the only place you can do it in North America. And when me and my family ever try something new up here, we always say you can't do that downstate.
This club provides most things. You get the shoes with the spikes on them, you get the helmets. All you really need is to bring your winter stuff, and you can go down. It's $10. Go down as many times as you want.
The public slide is right alongside, and they have a straight run, and we give them the opportunity to weave through the cones. The first goal for everybody is starting at the maple tree. Some of them, they've hit the banks. Others, they have gone straight through, and we move them up. And as long as they're going down in control, sliding safe, we'll continue to move them up the public slide. When they ask, well, hey, can we go to the competition side? We have to go through kids coming in with a physical and be a member of the club. So more often when the public comes, they're sliding on the public slide, and we'll put in the cones, and we have a near 90-degree turn that they can try to work on. So there's plenty of opportunity for the challenges that the competition kids see further up the track.
I came here a year ago. It was really fun, and so I kept coming back, so I paid for a membership. The first year I went from the second gate, which is at somewhere near the top of the hill, and now this year I'm at the junior start.
The
sleds are made in Europe. They run about $2,500, $2,300. They are competition, so they're only used for the elite athletes. The sleds got to weigh no more than 14 kilos, which is about 32 pounds. The steels are razor sharp, and the real competitive lugers could actually shave with that steel. That's how sharp it is. They're razor sharp. And we'll go down to actually use ceramics on the steels to make sure that they get a razor sharpness to them. And actually the steel, if you look, there's little marks here, and the steel from here to here is going to be somewhat round. The steel from here to here is a transitional area. In the burr, actually there's a burr, we call a burr on it, or a grub, and that will actually be a burr that would cause that steel to steer a certain way, which we want it to do. And then from here down to here is going to be your actually sliding edge, and that's going to be a razor sharp. And if I actually took my nail and went like that, you'll see that I leave some of my nail there. And then from here to here is a transition again, and then from here to here it's going to be dull. It's got finger guards. The finger guards, of course, that's required by FIL, so that if you were to start to tip the sled, instead of putting your hand here, which you can imagine is what's going to happen with your fingers, you're not going to have any left. Your fingers would come here and grab this finger guard, and they're going to be protected. You have a pod, what we call a pod, which you sit in the pod. It clamps you in because when you're steering down, you're going through a large curve. You can move your butt and it'll hit against that, and that sled will actually turn very sharply. You have the seat here, and you have a horn. You're going to be pulling on that sled, and if you didn't have something here to stop you, you're going to go right off that sled. The koofens is what you actually steer the sled with. Your legs are up here, and as you can see, it's somewhat flexible when I move that. And when I'm going to steer, I'm going to put my leg onto the koofen, and I press down, and that's going to cause, if I put it to the right koofen, I'm going to go left. If I put it to the left koofen, I'm going to go right. The rein, we always have a rein. The rein is that if I'm in a huge corner, a 90-degree corner of that, I'm going to put pressure on the koofen and pull on the opposite side of the rein. It's going to cause me that sled to pivot and go through that curve. This training sled, it has finger guards, but the steels are not a good deal, but it'll suffice for getting down for training. Just like the other one, it has a pod. But it's not a racing sled. It's good enough for training, for get someone first on the sled, but not good for competition. You never use that for competition. I was national champion back in 86, 87, and then the United States named me coach in 1987, 88 I coached. I gave everything I wanted, and it was time to step out of it, and so I did. In 89 I stepped out of it, and back in 2015 the United States Luge Association let go of the coach. They asked me if I wanted to coach again. I'm feeling, my God, I've been out of it for so many years. And I said, let me think about it. My wife said, of course. And so I called back and accepted. It's a challenge. Yeah, it's enjoyable. I work with the most fantastic kids in the world. They're unbelievable kids. I'm traveling throughout Europe and all the different countries and working with all the different countries, the different coaches. There's nothing like in the world coaching young men and women.
So I got into luge. I started doing artificial luge, which is like what you see in the Olympics, but it just was too far away and wasn't really going to work out for us. So I decided to come here and try it out, and I just kept coming every weekend until I made it to the top. And eventually I was good enough to go overseas, so I've been there 2 years now. And it's awesome meeting people from like a bunch of different countries like New Zealand, Russia, Serbia. It's just a different experience over there with a lot of different tracks. We do all the Junior World Cup races and pretty much every race we can get into over there. So we participated in 6 races, but right now natural luge isn't an Olympic sport, but there's a chance it'll go into the Olympics in the future.
6 years ago I started. I came out here with my scout troop, and I loved it. So I just kept coming back and coming back. And yeah, now it's 6 years later, and I've been to Europe 3 times, racing in the World Cups. It's really fun. You get to meet people from all over and talk with people from 18 different countries. I have friends from 4 different continents. It's a great experience.
They represent the United States of America. They wear the United States uniform. They travel and eat and room with all the different countries in the world, and their best friends are from New Zealand, from Argentina, from Romania, Ukraine, Bulgaria, all their friends, and they talk to them every week. And I go, what an experience to come from Marquette or from Appleton or Duluth and to travel the world. Fantastic. I think I'm so proud that they get to carry the United States flag. It's an unbelievable experience.
When we talk about hunting and fishing, often the conversation includes ideas about keeping our traditions alive by getting kids involved. Sometimes all it takes is for someone to put a foot forward and get the ball rolling. I talked with Luke Maulding, coach of the Marinette High School Fishing Club, to find out how it works and what it takes to make it happen.
A lot of schools have been going to starting high school fishing teams, and it's great just to get the kids more involved in outdoor sports and activities besides just the regular, basketball and football and things like that. So today we have 8 schools, both in the UP and from Wisconsin. We got over 120 kids out here fishing today. So we call it the Battle in the UP tournament. This is our 3rd annual. Currently in the state of Wisconsin, there are 120 high school fishing teams. So from being a UP guy and going to Mid-Penn High School and used to live in Gladstone, just trying to get more involvement and encouragement for some fishing teams at some UP schools. We do have some schools, Gladstone, Ishpeming, and I've been helping Wakefield and Marinette getting a fishing team started. So just trying to get more teams involved. I mean, we have just a great area for fishing all throughout the UP, and it's all about the kids. We have a lot of people donate time and money, and it's great to see these kids to want to compete. At our school at Marinette, we have over 50 kids now on our fishing team, and it's only growing.
Well, the fishing team, was established in 2017, and that was my 8th grade year, and I played basketball for Mr. Maulding, and he was telling us all about how he just started the fishing team, and a bunch of my buddies and I couldn't wait to join it once we were freshmen. I mean, a lot of fun fishing in bigger tournaments like the ice fishing state tournament. Last year we took 10th at. The past 2 years I've gone to showing for younger kids in elementary school. We show them how to tie knots, what kind of lures to use for different types of fish, panfish, game fish, how to set up a tip up. Like this Vexlar, I've never used one before, and then Mr. Maulding showed me how to use it, and then some techniques of jigging for walleye, panfish.
First of all, you got to get kids who wanna take part in it. You got to have some adult support. Usually, not just teachers. You don't need a teacher necessarily, but just people in your community, and that's a huge part. Willing to donate their time to get things started, and then reaching out to the school. People shouldn't be nervous about it or think it's a huge time commitment. There are people out there, me especially, that willing to put time in and help get you the materials and show you the steps involved in getting that. Get a few kids together, start getting some gear together. When we started, we had 25 kids and we had 2 ice augers. Now we have over 10 ice augers, and we have ice shacks, and all this stuff gets donated to us, and we do fundraising. So it's not just we come out here and we fish. We do an ice safety course. We've also had guys, local pros and stuff like that, come in and kind of show different techniques and gear and things like that. Again, when we first started, I think we had out of 20 kids, we had 4 of them who had either a Lowrance or Vexlar. Now all these kids that's what they ask for Christmas, and that's great. And they're out here and they're jigging, they're putting the time in. We don't really do much in the fall, but then come December and January, we start looking at ice fishing tournaments. We usually compete about 6 between January and February. And then come April, we host an open water tournament out of Marinette, Menominee. And then we also fish in a bass tournament that we host in the summer. And then we're also looking at getting a walleye tournament sometime in June up here on Little Beatty Knock. So with us, I had 2 senior boys came up to me and said, hey, can we look at starting a fishing team, and I looked at the steps and got that figured out. So anybody who would want to start, and not just an adult, but even a kid, you can reach out to me, they can contact me. Hopefully in the future it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, especially if we get more UP teams started and involved. I'd love for this thing to grow and get really big and have multiple schools, but UP is where we need to get some more schools involved. So.
For information about starting your own high school fishing team, contact Luke through their Facebook page, or you can find their info at 906outdoors.com and click on Discovering.